Hello, guys. How are you guys doing today? Um, I'm doing fantastic right now. I'm just literally about to go to sleep soon, but I was like, hey, might as well crank out some videos, react to my TikTok algorithm, see what's up. What have I been doing lately? I've been diving a lot into the whole Epstein files that was released publicly. There's a lot. I'm not an expert. I don't really want to talk about it unless like one of my videos or one of the algorithm, puts it out. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. How's my life going? I'm working a lot. Way too much right now. But this is like my place, my zen place to just dive right into whatever. So let's see what's on my algorithm today. Hopefully nothing embarrassing. If it's embarrassing, then we'll just skip over it. I love the intellectual stuff. I love to see what's going on with the world right now. So we'll see. Let's hope it's some travel videos or whatever that pops up, okay? Alrighty, let's see. What is
that
this?
is, and then color coordinates with the example essay.
Oh, right.
In addition to that,
So this is the video about how her students cannot really talk or whatever, and how or not talk, I'm sorry, can't read.
this is
It's
the literacy
not
criteria.
super interesting, so I'm just gonna skip this one.
Everybody got mad at me. Thousands of people, Christians, calling me a racist, saying that I hate people. I haven't even taken the time to watch the show to see that one of my co-hosts is interracial. These are deceitful, mean-spirited people.
I'm sorry to hear that, Joel. How dare they take your words out of context? Let me do some research for you and prove them wrong.
If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger.
Okay, Joel, that was pretty racist. Let's try the next clip.
About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. It doesn't even constitute a true church.
Okay, that's also pretty racist. What should I say to my friends who attend the black church?
If you listen to the message and you believe what they're saying, you will go to hell.
Wow, okay, this is pretty extreme. You're not making a great case for yourself. What would your solution be to this issue you just brought up?
There are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches.
One thing I kind of notice about people that just love to talk, and then they'll throw out like random statistics, right? Usually those statistics are made up as fuck. Just saying. Just saying.
The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in him.
Okay, that was also like super racist. Do you have any last words to defend yourself at all?
Do you like one over the other? And one was a young white dude and one was a young black dude. And I said, I prefer the young white dude. And this is why. The reason why is not because I'm white, but because we currently live in a historical moment in the West, and particularly in these United States, where I know that both of these guys could be perfectly qualified. But I also know that if there's a chance that one of them was not qualified and was given a free pass, it'd be the black guy. I know that that young white guy, there's no way he got a free pass.
Okay, Joel, so I've looked into it and I have concluded that you are racist by definition. If I'm not mistaken, I think you said the black church wasn't really a church, that black pastors need to be taught by white pastors how to be real pastors. You openly question the competence of black professionals because of race-based assumptions, and I don't think that's being taken out of context. I'm pretty sure that is the context. And by the way, saying things like this,
I love black people.
One of my co-hosts is interracial.
that's giving, I have a black friend, I'm not racist, energy.
You know, this video makes sense to me.
And that's not a defense. It never has been. You don't get absolved from racism by proximity. You don't get exempt because you say things calmly. And you certainly don't get to redefine racism because you don't like the label. So no, people aren't being mean to you. They're responding quite accurately. I hope that helps clear up the confusion.
Okay, no joke, this comment makes sense. Wait, I thought he was Matt Walsh. Dude, I thought he was Matt Walsh too. Holy shit. But with like a bigger beard or something.
Everybody got mad at me.
Okay, next video.
We're releasing 10 new heroes over the
Yo, this is about Overwatch 2. I'm actually kind of hyped about this. I love Overwatch 1. I played the shit out of it in the first, like, when it first released. I'm a casual fan. I'm not hardcore. I just love, you know, just put every type of skills, everything in it. Like, just let us casuals play it. I know that the most vocal people will be the hardcore players, and they'll want to min-max everything. They'll want to strategize everything, and they'll complain to Blizzard about like, oh yeah, which one needs to be nerfed and which one needs to be buffed and blah, blah, blah. No. Just put everything there. You're gonna be doing like a shit ton of heroes anyway. So just like, I'm not saying make it super unbalanced, but just make it fun. That's all that matters. And the queue, oh my god, fix that goddamn queue.
of the year. 5 are launching next week with Season 1.
For the newest tank, we are thrilled to introduce you to Domina. While technically not a member of Talon,
Domina? More like never mind.
Her primary fire is a charge-up beam that ends in a burst shot, rewarding precise tracking. Its wrap shape not only mitigates damage, but also protects against flankers. Its segments can be destroyed individually, forcing enemies to focus fire.
You know what the shield reminds me of? It reminds me of that video, this was years ago from a gun channel, where they stack up like five windshields, simulating like a bulletproof like glass, right? That you would see on, you know, cars and stuff. And turns out the way to penetrate glass like that is to shoot at the exact point multiple times for it to go through. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that.
To break through. And such a distinguished hero needs an ultimate up to her standards. Striking enemies traps them inside a barrier that blocks their damage and healing. When the effect ends, the barrier explodes, delivering devastating, often lethal.
Wait, that's kind of funny.
Imre made a name for himself not only due to his skills on the battlefield, but
Wait,
for his
it's
thing,
actually him.
He stood as a left the
2015,
organization
before the game
behind.
even launched, this guy was
Only
mentioned.
recently was
His synthetic burst rifle fires 3-round bursts at blistering speed.
Wait, that
equipping
looks
airborne
gas.
heroes like a sidearm that packs explosive damage, heals through lifesteal, and boosts both speed and jump height. Versatile explosives chip away at health, bounce off walls, and make nasty finishers around corners.
Wait, it actually looks
then
cool.
There's his ultimate, arming him with a devastating cannon. Fire off repeated explosive shots or charge up one massive blast that can shred entire enemy teams.
Talk about a new Talon-affiliated support, Mizuki.
His core healing tool, a field that surrounds him. Mizuki can charge this aura by healing allies with other abilities or even by dealing damage. Healing Casa bounces up to 3 allies. You choose the first target, and the enchanted hat does the rest. With multiple charges, giving a bit of healing himself.
see
Katashiro
you.
Return, a mobility skill that boosts his speed and lets him teleport back to his starting
That's
position.
cool.
Binding Chain tethers them to a confined area, slowing mobile heroes or grounding airborne threats. Mizuki's ultimate creates a protective zone. Its outer layer absorbs incoming projectiles, while allies inside receive healing. Or
Wait, it's
flipping
just a
fight in your
reverse
favor,
Mauga cage.
it's a
Onron heats things up in the damage roll.
There
She's
she is.
confident,
Her Juche fans fire 2 blazing projectiles, stacking her ignition passive to set enemies on fire. Dancing Blaze, phasing her to nearby enemies for damage or as a time dodge against big abilities, even ultimates. And then there is her ultimate, or ultimates. Alive, Onron unleashes Vermilion Ascent, soaring upward before crashing down to ignite enemies. But if she dies first, Vermilion Revival triggers a fiery explosion, resurrecting her mid-battle.
Wait, so
That
she
she'll
rises
actually
like
be
a-
available early
Never
for
mind.
in a world with guerrilla scientists
He's
and hamster
real!
engineers,
allies that are below her will be able to attach to Jetpack Cat's tether, and she can move them around the map.
She's an
Above the
Uber.
point. Jetpack Cat's ultimate, the closest knockdown enemy is picked up by Jetpack Cat's tether. We don't want to give too much
evil!
away until you can
I
play her
love
for
it!
yourself.
We're releasing
Not gonna lie, that's sick as hell. I'm actually so hyped for this game, and they freaking renamed it to Overwatch back to Overwatch 1, so why not? I'm already excited, and I heard it's gonna be like a kind of different team. Like it won't have like many of the original team on it. So that's kind of interesting. Okay,
Let's
next
see if
video.
we have an update on the struggling family restaurant that I recently went to.
So previously I did a video at a Greek family restaurant and it was empty. Damn, it's so sad there's no customers.
For one person?
I uploaded my review 3 days ago and a lot of you have been asking for updates, so let's see what's going on.
Hey, Tim. How are you? How you doing? I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I always love these videos. Sometimes they work, sometimes they're not. Like you would have like a good ass restaurant and they probably have like a bad experience on it, so everyone starts hating on them. Like, nah, bro. Restaurants are restaurants, they're all different beasts, and I love it.
Hey, Tia. How are you?
Okay, listen to me. Take off your jacket, put on an apron, and come back.
Oh, I gotta help you out?
This is what you did to us. And I knew there was something off with you. I was like, wait, in a good way though. I was like, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Who pays you?
Nobody pays me.
Because you go to every restaurant, you pay so much money.
That's why I keep my day job.
What's your day job?
I'm a cab driver.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
You're Turkish.
Turkish, yeah. I don't know.
No.
Dude, cab jobs or any type of jobs that get you moving, like door dashing or whatever. Like, I'm sure you're gonna experience bad customers or whatever, but the places that you go to will always be gems. For sure.
I made 5 musakas yesterday, 5 today, 4 spinach pie. So now I said turn off deliveries because I'm out of spinach pie. I don't want to be out of musaka. I want to, you know. Go.
I was just something my son. I'm gonna take a picture
Of course. Do you have a table for one though?
For you, absolutely.
I appreciate it, man. This is nice to meet you. How are you, sir? I'm good, thank you. Are you tired? I'm so sorry.
I don't know what happened, but it's like we never have it.
Oh,
Easy.
wow.
We came yesterday. It was stacked, man. You couldn't get in. They told us 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
You came to this restaurant today? It was you.
Oh, really? Yo, dude, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Quick food review. These lamb chops were so delicious.
Smell off. 5 out of 5. I appreciate you coming out.
Hercules over there. All of a sudden I hear him, Ma, look, my guy was at the restaurant. I said, what are you talking about? What guy? Look. No one came.
Wait, his name is Hercules? That's insane. That's cool.
By that face. Because he showed me the picture. And then he showed me the video. I said, oh my God, yes, he was there. He says, Ma, wait, if Ethan goes to the restaurant, people will follow. I said, yeah, right. Why are people going to follow? He says, Ma, trust me. Just get ready. Sure enough, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so overwhelmed. So overwhelmed.
Thank you very much for what you did for them.
Quick homemade lemon cake review.
You don't want to wait in line for the Golden Dine or pancakes? Come here because it tastes exactly like it. I'm gonna ask to check from you.
Really now? He wants to check. No check.
Guys, do this quick. $140. Kirk, take care. Take care.
Thank you
okay?
so much again.
Take care.
Please come. Thank you so much.
Let's see if we haven't.
This is awesome, dude. Seeing videos like these always makes me happy. Because I worked in a restaurant for so long that... I don't know. It's awesome. It's awesome. And I do want to get out of the restaurant, like, work for sure. But seeing videos like these... I don't know. It brings a little, like, warmth in my heart, you know? Brings me a little bit of happiness. Anyways.
Get your goddamn, you look like Michael Jackson if a third.
Okay, no.
You know, one time in Pakistan, I don't know if I told you this last time I was here, but I was very, very good about surveillance.
And you're wondering why, if I skip that last video, I'm not interested in the, like reality type videos or even shows and stuff. It's just not my style. I love to like open my mind and like learn stuff about this. I don't really like semi-scripted, semi-not scripted reality shows like those. Sorry, that's just my style, you know.
actually became a surveillance detection instructor at the CIA after Pakistan. And when I first arrived in Pakistan, a colleague picked me up at the airport and he said, oh, we put you in the Marriott. And I said, the Marriott? Are you out of your minds? If they're going to blow up one place, what's it going to be? It's going to be the Marriott. I said, I'm not staying in the Marriott. So I stayed there the first night, and then they moved me into this little 16-room guest house owned by a Pakistani family. 6 weeks later, they blew up the Marriott and killed 156 people. So I was...
Holy shit. That's insane. And now, like, I've seen his videos before. Some people in the comments are like, no, it's gotta be a lie. No way. I don't know. Like, sure, yeah, but it's always interesting to hear his stories because it gives you a world view of, like, through a different lens, you know? And not just, like, a travel dude vlogging type of experience, you know?
In this little, with... The truck bomb made a crater so deep that water was seeping in from the water table. That's how big this bomb was. I'm like, you see? What did I tell you? So anyway, every day I would leave at a different time and take a different route to work. And every night when I was done, and the days were very, very long, it wasn't unusual to work an 18-hour day. I would leave and take a different route back to the guest house, so as not to set a pattern. As soon as you set a pattern, that's when they kill you. Because they know that at 6:05, he's going to cross right through this intersection, and that's when we fire the grenade at him. Right? That's how people get killed.
Right.
So I left one day, and I noticed a guy on a motorcycle with a red helmet trying really hard to stay in my blind spot. Now, the only reason I even noticed him at first was because he had a helmet. And I had never seen anybody with a motorcycle helmet in Pakistan. I don't even know where you would buy a motorcycle helmet in Pakistan, right? But I noticed him.
Dude, one thing that's really funny is that if you do go to the Asian countries, depending on which Asian country, some Asian... Well, actually, no, this is the funny part. Most Asian countries do drive motorcycles or mopeds. And helmets, it's like a completely optional thing. Some countries are very strict with helmets, and then others are not. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
And it was red. And I thought, okay, noted. So I got to this neighborhood called the Diplomatic Quarter where most of the embassies were, and he broke off. So I wrote myself a note when I got to my desk. I left that night. I worked 14, 15 hours, whatever it was. It was dark. It was dark when I arrived, and it was dark when I left. And as soon as I pulled out of the DQ, the Diplomatic Quarter, there he is again. I don't know how to respond to that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, your watch. Sorry.
Yeah. As soon as I pulled out of the Diplomatic Quarter, there he was again. And I thought, oh, that's not good. Right? There's a definition of surveillance. It's multiple sightings at time and distance. So you see him at multiple times, at different places, and at different points in your trip.
Right.
So I took this weird, circuitous, nonsensical route back to the guest house, and several blocks away, he dropped off again. I was really nervous. And that night, I got everything ready in advance for the next day, and I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I went to the front door of the guest house. I opened it just a crack. I looked up and down the street, and I didn't see anything. Went out to my car, and they give us these retractable sticks with, one time in...
Oh, he didn't finish the story. That was actually a very cool story. I don't know if it's like, just a random story that might be fake, but it was very cool. And I think people have to remember that being a CIA agent or any type of intelligence agent, it's not about just like going out there shooting action movie star James Bond type of shit. No, it's a lot of like the job implies, intelligence gathering or just doing your job. And sometimes there are counterintelligence gathering where people would be, spying on you, if they ever discover anything. I don't know. It's boring work, but it's also like you gotta do it for your country. It's not the best paying job in the world. You could always go to a private sector. I heard they would pay like 2 times more or even 3 times more sometimes if you go to a private sector. But even the private sector works for the government to a certain extent, and they would background check you if you like have a shady background or something, you know? Okay, next video.
What I don't think is a good idea is the fact that we're paying way more for that, for billionaires to go sip on pina coladas on private jets.
I mean,
in
80% of Americans had their taxes cut by one
That's
big
what's
beautiful
happening
bill.
in America right now.
Do you
Really?
agree that, yes, 80% of Americans, essay and fact check, 80% of Americans had their taxes cut by the one big beautiful bill for middle class Americans.
How so?
$80,000 to $100,000. I think it was around $1,000 to $2,000.
What happened to the tax rate?
It went down.
It did?
Yeah, for 80% of
Regular
Americans.
people? The tax rate?
Yeah.
Tax rate
yes,
didn't go down.
Yes, it did.
Tax rate didn't go
Essay and fact check right here.
Okay, this is very, very good for me. There's a huge difference between my taxes being cut by a few $100s and millionaires' tax cuts by 2.3 million. That is so true. Like, people do not understand this at all. So if let's say I'm making $50,000, which I think I am, maybe I forgot how much I make actually, but let's say I'm making around that amount, right? And they cut it by several $100s. Cool. That is awesome. I could buy, I don't know, like baby formulas for my kids or something. Or like I could feed my family a bit more, right? It is a massive help. For sure. But if a millionaire who is making, I don't know, $10 million, and let's say last year before whatever law passed, they have to be taxed by $1 million. Now they're being, taxed by $2 million. Now you're going to hear like YouTubers and even like some of these tax millionaires out here saying like, oh yeah, less money for me means that I could hire less people, I could do less projects, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. You are still a goddamn millionaire. Okay? Instead of making $9 million this year, you're going to be making $8 million this year. Which is still a lot of money. Now, I know like tax and money is way different for everyone, even for millionaires. So, I don't know. Like, the situation is complex, but it's not entirely too complex. You know what I'm saying?
80%.
The tax rate?
Yes, the effective tax rate for
Oh, the
Americans.
effective tax rate.
Yeah, the tax rate for Americans went down. I mean, do you disagree with that?
Well, because that's not what happened. What happened was
Federal
maybe an
tax rate
increase
went
for the
down,
standard deduction and some other things, but a lot of those policies, and I just want to make sure that it's very clear here. The policies for regular people and the tax cuts that were in the big, beautiful ripoff bill, per se, for those that make less than $200,000 a year, were supported by a lot of Democrats. Democrats supported these ideas. Nobody supported raising income taxes for folks that made less than $400,000 a year.
Kamala Harris
Nobody,
extended the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
Exactly. You know why? Because what we don't support is the fact that the richest corporations in America are getting away with paying little to nothing in taxes. What we know is that with the 21% corporate tax rate that we have, it's too low.
Okay, so perfect. I want to establish. You want to raise the corporate tax rate. You want to tax unrealized gains. You want to do all these things.
Did I say that?
I mean, I'm asking you because that's what Kamala Harris said.
I think that for those people that make more than $1 billion a year, they should pay a property tax style tax on their wealth. That is what's okay. What I don't think is a good idea.
Okay, that's an interesting video. Anyways, next video.
We don't want to connect the dots between Epstein, Palestine, AI, Congo, and ICE because
Bro. Sorry, I just burped just now. Bro, there's actually a shit ton of dots that is connected. And the fucking thing is, like, Epstein is connected to it all. And that's scary, dude. This guy is like, no rest, just like doing everything. And it's scary.
And you do so. When you hold all that on your head, the vision that emerges of the future is so terrifying you might pee your pants. So trigger warning, this video might make you pee your pants. And also all the other trigger warnings. If there's a child in the room, please send them away. This is a conversation for grown-ups, and I hate to break it to you, but we're the grown-ups. Thanks to the Epstein files, it's very clear now who the people who run the world are. We know the depth of their sickness and depravity. And to all the people who've been really focused in on the Epstein files, I thank you. I thank the people that are combing through it right now, shining a light on these horrific abuses, because the media is not going to report on it. But we can't just focus on the Epstein files. Knowing the character of these billionaires, we must widen our lens and look what they've been up to in Palestine. These oligarchs were not content to rape, torture the isolated teen girl here and there on a secluded island. They want impunity to do anything they want to anyone. And if you want to know what that looks like, it looks like Gaza. For 2.5 years, Israel has killed people in Gaza in every conceivable way. They've operated a network of concentration camps where torture raping people, including children, is standard practice. And every so-called liberal Western democracy in the world has not just looked the other way, but funded it to billions of dollars. And they did that because they're all completely bought out by those oligarchs you know from the Epstein files. And the oligarchs wanted Israel to do all this mass torturing and raping and killing because they don't want to just do it in Palestine. They want to do it everywhere. They want to do the same things they do to Palestinians and those poor girls on Epstein's island to you and your children. And they don't want you to even be able to look at them funny for doing it. Because after all, why all this destruction visited upon Gaza? Why them? Because a tiny fraction of the most brutalized people on earth took up arms and resisted. They'd had enough of their relatives and loved ones being continually tortured and disappeared and massacred and humiliated every day of their lives by the occupation. And a lot of you who've watched a lot of Hollywood movies think that if your family and relatives were threatened and humiliated and degraded and tormented the way that Palestinians' families were for 100 years, that you too would take up arms then and do something about it. But will you? With the specter of what they did in Palestine hanging over your head? Will you, when just peacefully protesting in the street right now gets you shot dead? Will you, if you know that any resistance means your spouse and children will be disappeared into black box concentration camps staffed by pedophiles? And will you, when even just thinking about resistance could get you arrested? Meta and Palantir and other AI companies are working on mind-reading AI that can detect your thoughts using brain scans or reading your biometric data and minute microfacial expressions. At the same time that Trump's Board of Peace is planning a concentration camp that will surveil.
Dude, I read about the Board of Peace thing. That shit is actually really, really interesting. How, like, he's trying to make a new version of the UN, which, if you guys don't know, if you live in a first world country, the UN feels and seems like it is the most complete useless thing ever. But if you live in a third world country, a country that is much poorer, UN and World Bank, like, if you actually read into them and not just the conspiracy shit, they're actually really, really good. Like, UN and stuff. And, like, they are trying to create peace. And not just peace by intervention, but peace by, like, stability. Just, like, go in there, create peace where it already has peace from the recent war zone areas. Which is hard. Like, there are so many UN troops that died fighting for this mission. And from all countries too, and there's so many things. I don't want to be like a simp for them, but there's so many interesting things when you start reading about UN missions and all of that. And they're trying to create a new version of UN through, this Board of Peace. And apparently they're trying to make it so that President Trump, even after his presidency, he could still be the president of this Board of Peace, which is basically like, if you guys watch, like, I think it was like the last few episodes of the original Avatar TV show with like the firebenders and all that, how he wanted, like, the Fire King Ozai wanted to be the Phoenix Emperor or something like that. It's kind of something similar where he wanted to be on top of that, international order instead of just being president of the US. It's now that is like a little bit of a conspiracy area, but there are plans to try and make him the president of the Board of Peace. There's so much interesting facts about that. You guys should look that up.
Fail every single moment of Palestinians' day, including all their biometric data. So if you even form the thought of wanting to resist, or your heart starts pounding a certain way when you see the Israeli flag, they'll know about it and punish you accordingly. It's every bit as dystopian as 1984, only way worse, because in 1984, no one was getting raped by dogs and electric cattle prods. And this digital surveillance state concentration camp hell is a blueprint for what those Epstein oligarchs want to do in New York and Paris and London and a town near you. Don't believe me? Look at how police forces and ICE both have training programs with the IDF and continually adopt their technologies and strategies for brutalizing civilian populations. The armed drones we saw circling Gaza for the first 2 years of genocide are now in cities all over the US. For those of you who are like, but Democrats are resisting, that they're going to make ICE wear body cameras. Police departments love their body cameras. They were trying to get body cameras for years before Democrats funded them. Body cameras surveil you, not the ICE officers. Body cameras make it so that every time you cross the path of an ICE or police officer, your face is getting registered in their AI database. Just side note, nobody funds the police and ICE like Democrats. No one oversaw the expansion of
different wings of the same bird.
The carceral state, like Joe Biden's crime bill and Obama expanding ICE nationwide. No one builds cop cities like Democratic mayors and governors. They've spent the past 50 years in lockstep with Republicans building up this domestic army to crush dissent the moment that power was handed over to a truly overt fascist, which was always really obviously where all the shit was headed. And that's what the data centers are for. It's not for ChatGPT or Sora. And this is what the AI is for. This is what the data centers are for. Surveillance. Or so the billionaire rapist can keep you so thoroughly watched under their all-seeing digital eye and so completely crushed under a violent, raping, torturing, disappearing domestic army a la the IDF in Palestine, now called ICE in the US, that you can't even formulate a thought of opposing them when they snatch up whatever child they like to rape and torture to death. And knowing this, that's why I think all this talk about AI being a bubble that's gonna burst is actually just like liberal cope, because the economy is transitioning to something new. When this kind of data surveillance of everyone is in place, they don't need the economy to do the things that they needed it to do.
That's what I always talk about. And that's what I've always tell my friends. No joke when I say this. That I think the same metaphor would be like, this is like, okay, let's say this for instance, right? Let's say electric cars, which is pioneered by Elon Musk and Tesla. For the longest time, people have always said that, electric cars would be the future and it'll go beyond just Elon Musk. Even if Tesla collapses, electric cars will be there. Same metaphor for these data centers, okay? These data centers will not go away even if the bubble bursts. Now, money and resources will be drained and go elsewhere, but it stays within around the circle. That's a thing that people don't understand, is that it stays there. Even it's not like the other bubbles where if it bursts, something does bad happen. These are tech that people can reuse. Maybe they'll recycle it or something and make better tech, but that's it. It stays there. That's the scary thing about it.
In the past, because in their new world order, you will work. Oh, will you work? And this is where we look to Congo. Look to the conditions of thousands of enslaved people crammed together in an open mud pit, digging by hand for the tiny chips of rare earth metals necessary to build their global AI panoply.
They're talking about, or she's talking about cobalt. If you guys know anything about cobalt, I think only like 2 or 3 places on Earth that has cobalt. Congo, there's a shit ton of cobalt, and then there's Australia, which has like I think like 20% of the world's cobalt, but that's a little bit hard to find.
Opticon Hell Society. This is a glimpse of the types of labor laws you can expect in the future the Epstein oligarchs are trying to build. In such a world, the rapid extinction of humanity due to all of the fossil fuel pollution generated by the data centers they want to build comes as almost a relief. Because at least the billionaire pedophiles will die too.
So the thing is, what she is talking about is actually kind of interesting. Fossil fuel is here to stay, but not in like a weird way that you would think. It's not going to be 100% powering these data centers, which we are having a lot of generators that uses diesel and fossil fuel to power them just because like they generate so much electricity. Eventually they are going to transition to other forms of electricity, but the issue is we're still going to need fossil fuel for even manufacturing these data centers, plastics, or whatever.
Will probably be among the last because they're building their billion-dollar climate bunkers, but an uninhabitable Earth will get all of us in the end. But listen, this hell I'm describing is only one world that's trying to be born. It has a twin. Another world is possible. And this is the world that the vast majority of people are yearning for. A world where you have power over your own lives. A world where you have the power to disobey evil. Power to take care of each other. Power to make things, anything, better. Power to live lives of dignity and self-determination. The vast majority of us want such a world, even if we don't quite know it yet. And what we do have on our side is numbers. There's way more of us than there are of them. But what we lack is class fucking solidarity. Look to the Epstein files. Look to the oligarch class. You've got Saudi royal princes and English princes, famously Muslim and Christian, as well as Israeli Mossad agents who are Jewish. You've got Democratic.
Holy shit, I didn't even think about it that way. That Epstein, if you actually look through the files, yes, Saudi princes and other types of prince in the Middle East and in England too is quite literally talking to him. He is quite literally uniting all 3 religions. Like, if you're thinking, what is he talking about? How is Judaism in this? That's because that Epstein, weirdly enough, it is heavily implied through, like, if you read the files, he is a Jewish supremacist, kind of, not exactly, but you just actually don't read the files. They are traumatizing. They will make you depressed, but it's there that he talks about Judaism like okay, let me give you an example. Now, does it relate back to it? I don't 100% remember this, but he talks about how Bill Gates asked him if he wants to like collaborate with him on spreading like, you know, vaccines and doing good in Africa and stuff. And he was making fun of Bill Gates for having like this Catholic thing going on, like for just being rich or whatever. It's like, dude, fuck off, dude. And I think he did talk about Judaism for a little bit on that one, but it's weird. I'm just remembering it on the top of my head. You gotta read this part.
And Republican lawmakers, you've got rappers and elite academics. From Trump's Board of Peace to the Epstein files, these oligarchs set aside racial, religious, and ethnic differences to come together to torture and immiserate people. And they set aside those differences so easily because they understand that their extreme wealth is way more important than any other aspect of their identity to them, and they will do anything to defend it and increase its size. And we could learn a lot from them because we don't have class solidarity. We are continually allowing ourselves to be divided by weaponized identity politics and select.
Yes. Yes. Do more. We as middle class people have to do more. We have to create bigger unions or do something. We gotta negotiate better. I don't know. That's all I gotta say.
Empathy. If you only care when their victims look like.
Okay.
The main reason the United States lies so much about China and spends so much propaganda against them is that the Chinese government actually works for their people. And one of the main reasons China's government's been able to continue doing amazing things for their citizens, like completely eradicating poverty, is that they execute corrupt billionaires and politicians who steal from the people. China has executed 14 people with a net worth of at least 1 billion yuan, or $155 million, in the last 8 years as part of Xi Jinping's anti-corruption drive. The most recent to be executed was Bai Tianhui, the former general manager of China Hurong International Holdings, a subsidiary of China Hurong Asset Management, a state-owned enterprise that was set up to deal with bad loans from state banks during the Asian financial crisis. Now, this is a state-owned enterprise that functions similarly to TARP in the US in the 2008 financial collapse.
If I remember correctly, Vietnam is about to do the same thing to one of their billionaire scammers. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm remembering.
Or to the PPP loans during COVID. It essentially bails out companies that are failing. They have a ton of money at their discretion, so it is a magnet for corruption. So corrupt businessmen who were interested in their own personal gains were going to Bai Tianhui with bribes in order to get much larger sums of money from Hurong International Holdings. And unlike in the United States, where that kind of corruption is normalized and we expect as taxpayers to bail out corporations who were fucking the people to begin with, China did the necessary thing to ensure that it doesn't happen again. The main reason...
Interesting video. Okay.
Whoa! Did you see this? America captured Venezuela's dictator.
Silly black people.
What the
always
fuck?
think they can accomplish everything by just sitting around.
Excuse me, what? Do you think they're just...
Very efficient. And a little bit gross.
Jesus Christ, you double down. Okay, well, this has been, great.
Who are you talking to?
The waiter, because, I think it'd be good if I, leave. Give me the fucking check.
No, it would not.
Yes, it would. You've said some rather offensive things tonight.
Do you not know that sucking my dick is a serious offense?
What the fuck?
You.
Fuck me. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too. Fuck all of you. Give me the fucking check.
Whoa.
Okay,
Let's
well.
see how expensive
Alright.
a solo dinner at a struggling family restaurant is. This guy DM'd me saying that his 70-year-old parents work
Oh,
every day
I think this is the
Greek
video from
restaurant.
before, right?
Solid.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Musaka.
Hey, I love it.
The
Okay.
White House tried to walk it back, but the president continues to push this idea of nationalizing the election, meaning having the federal government do things like count ballots and run the election and maybe even manage voter registration. So I'm going to share with you exactly what the president just said a short time ago, and then I'm going to give you the facts. Here we go.
Let's see elections be honest. And if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it.
Trump is referring to all the Republican representatives and senators who were standing behind him in the Oval Office. He wasn't specific about what he wanted them to do, but let's keep going and see if he clarifies.
Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway.
Oh, he wants those lawmakers to get involved and federalize the elections.
This is the most wild part, and I think a lot of these comments are like building that statement too. In the beginning of the country, states are nearly as powerful as their own countries. Nearly. That's why they have the federalized party and not. It's that was a whole interesting part. But then over time, when they found out that, hey, we should federalize the whole country, that was when they found out that they have to balance what the federal government could do and what the state government could do. You could leave that to the lawyers, to be honest, or the academic like scholars for this. But for the longest time, the federal government could not dictate a whole lot of things other than like dispersing funding or whatever. Even unto the state, like right now, it's mostly just that. It's like mostly just dictating funding or whatever, other than like gay marriage and stuff, if I remember correctly, and the Emancipation Proclamation, where slaves cannot, there cannot be slaves in the United States of America. Oh, it's even in the title too, United States of America. It's all those states combined. That's the power of this country. Yeah, there's a whole lot of it. It's mostly down to the the legal scholars that have to dictate why these things go. Yeah.
And the reason why the federal government doesn't do them anyway, meaning doesn't run elections, is because of Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution. The Founding Fathers gave that power to the states. The states run elections in this country, not the federal government. So that's why the federal government doesn't do them anyway. And for the record, the Founding Fathers did that for a reason. They were fearful of another king coming over to try and rule them. They had just won independence from the King of England. So when it came to figuring out the new power structure in their new country, the United States of America, the Founding Fathers divided the power up so no one branch of government or...
And here's the thing. Right now, we are doing like these all kinds of like weird tactics to like secure voting and stuff to make it like 100% or nearly 99% sure that it's American citizens that are voting. Here's the thing about back in the old days, okay? Back in the old days, voting stations or voting places are straight up the most random places ever, like local bars or local wherever that people congregate a lot, right? And no joke, people would be voting like, some of these guys would be voting like infinite amount of times just to get the people that they like to be on, the government. It was pretty wild. Like, if you start reading about the stories back then, it's pretty wild. Now, here's the thing. What is the modern solution? The modern solution should be like a low-cost way, not a way to like friggin', I don't know, get like a passport or something. No, passports are really expensive if you actually get into that process. Do a low-cost way of getting everyone registered. Get a lot of polling places or a lot of places that could like, like people could deposit their vote or whatever. And that's it. Like, hell, even make it free, but you have to verify that this person is an American citizen. Like, a lot of countries have figured this out, okay? America should not take so much effort to figure this out.
States got too powerful, and most importantly, they limited the authority of the executive, meaning they limited the president's power because they didn't want another king. Fun fact, the Constitution gives the president zero power over the elections. And the Constitution talks about the elections quite a bit. And the president, not mentioned once. Now, we all have to assume that President Trump understands the Constitution of the United States. Of course, he is the president, so you would imagine he understands it. He swore on the Bible to uphold it when he was inaugurated.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
I always hated that term so much. To the best of my ability. You see that on legal terms all the time. Legal contracts all the time. Bro, it is such a vague term that people break it all the fucking time.
Defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So I have no idea why he keeps saying this, but let's keep going. Maybe he'll shed some light on why.
But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is, I think the federal government, when you see crooked elections, and we had plenty of them.
Oh, now I see. He wants the federal government to take over elections because in his view, some states run their elections horribly and they are crooked. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. That is his opinion. That is not a fact. Now, I want to be clear. I am not saying that states run their elections perfectly, and I'm certainly not saying there aren't election problems. Those absolutely exist. But here's the genius part of our country. We have remedies and contingency plans and laws that govern how we fix those problems. Those remedies run through the states, they run through the courts, and they even in some cases run through the federal government. But the fact is, none of these problems that Trump has been talking about for 10 years have ever been proven anywhere. Not in one state, including red states, not in one court, including in courts run by Trump-appointed judges, and not even by President Trump's own Department of Justice during his first term. But let's keep going, and maybe we'll get a better idea if maybe there's something new that Trump knows.
And by the way, we had them last time, but go to 2020 and look at the facts that are coming out.
Okay, so then not new. We're going back to 2020, 6 years ago. Again. Okay, let's hear more.
Rigged, crooked elections. If we have areas, take a look.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with this. I've seen so much of this shit already. No. This was from the 2020 elections cycle. Fuck that. He already went through several lawsuits and he lost those, okay? Fuck that.
Rachel Cohen is somebody who I really think that everybody should follow on TikTok. I think that she's a wonderful thinker, and I think she has a really great way of articulating her thoughts. And I think it was yesterday where she said that it appears that the world governments just at large are taking the too big to fail approach with regards to the files. And I could not agree more. But I also think the individuals are taking that approach as well. And I think that, like, in a way, the 3 million pages that have been released are effectively like a flood the zone strategy, because there's so much to go through. I mean, like, you can have teams of journalists working on this, and like you probably won't get through even 1 million pages thoroughly in the next couple months, right? So there will just always be more revelations. And in the same way that there was an onslaught of images and videos that were coming out of GAZA, if you know what I'm saying, to a point where it sort of numbed some people instead of spurring them into action. I kind of think that's what's going to happen here, is like, you'll just keep hearing about them eating the intestines of children and talking about how it tastes like cream cheese. And like, you're like, okay, that breaks my brain.
So what he referenced to is, there was a photo of a plate of like cream cheese and other stuff in front of Epstein and his like allies and stuff. I think Clinton was in that photo too. And apparently it was like babies and stuff. I don't remember the exact email, but that was like super fucked.
But then like just more stuff will come out. And at a point, like, I feel like that most people have this thought of, okay, I guess like it's just all evil and all bad, so what can I do about it? And of course that is like the wrong response in my opinion, because actually the horror should mobilize you to the point where you start getting specific about what you want to have happen to these people, right? And then you should
start getting state governments involved. Get their investigators involved. Get their judicial systems involved. Arizona, California, wherever it may be. Hell, even get international countries involved. France, China. Just start arresting these people. These people are insanely, like, evil. Like, if you start reading into the Epstein files, everyone in those files is completely fucked. Okay, not everyone that's mentioned. Some people are just mentioned like once or twice. Who cares? Whatever. But most people that are involved in Epstein's apparatus, fucked. Fuck them.
Push for that as constantly and vocally as possible. But it's weird because I'm already encountering people online and in real life to a degree who have kind of said to me like, well, I mean, if every single powerful person on earth is involved, it's like, what are we going to do? Are we just going to like shut down the entire old system? It's like, yes, that should be the answer. Rachel Cohen also makes this point, and I'm just iterating it here again, which is like, that absolutely should be the answer. Like, what has the old system wrought out onto the world, right? It has brought out a fate where every single person on earth is guaranteed to live through absolute fucking hell now until they die because of climate disasters. And like, that's just talking about the naturalistic fate of what we have brought onto ourselves. That's not even talking about the societal constructs that we all have like just kind of like resigned to living in. So it's like, when we talk about, should we just like throw all these powerful people in jail? Should we just do something with them? Yes. Because the alternative is that we all live through climate-related hell forever, and also we know that they eat children. Like, yes, the answer is yes.
Yep. Yep. Fucking arrest them all. That's it.
She was trapped in a vehicle being cut out with the jaws of life. Yeah, this is Aaron from Social Work. I'm calling regarding the appeal.
Yeah, I love this guy. This guy has done so much good work. If you check out his channel, fuck it, I'll follow him right now. I've seen his channel. He has done some insane work, and I love it.
For case ending 78992. This was a denial for air ambulance transport from the scene of a car accident. You denied a $68,000 airlift bill, and the reason the reviewer put was transport not pre-authorized. Patient was unconscious, trapped in a vehicle. It was an emergency situation, so I'm not sure how pre-authorization works in emergency situations. I've submitted the police report, the EMS run sheet showing how she was extricated from the wreckage. She was intubated on the scene. So I understand that your policy requires authorization for non-emergent transport. I get that. But this was a level 1 trauma alert. The closest trauma center was 45 minutes by ground, 12 by air. The first responders made the call as they were cutting her out of the car. Wait. Okay, so your clinical reviewer is denying it because her policy only covers air ambulance if the patient is taken to the nearest hospital.
This completely reminds me of Trauma Team. I like the tiers how you subscribe to, or like if you're in bronze tier, or sorry, silver tier, or even like gold tier. Yeah, you get like a platinum tier. You get different types of responses.
And the level 1 trauma. And
that's from Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk World, the games and the board games and stuff.
Level 1 trauma center she was flown to was 2 miles farther away than the local community hospital that doesn't have a neurosurgeon on staff. So to be clear, you're saying she should have been taken to the hospital that couldn't actually treat her head injury because it was slightly closer. You're second guessing the paramedics' split-second decision and the first responders that was on the scene due to a mileage technicality? Ma'am, what's your name? Jennifer? All right, Jennifer, with all due respect, the nearest appropriate facility clause is standard. The nearest inappropriate facility doesn't count. She would have died. Are you really going to argue with me that they should have risked her life to save $68,000? They were not worried about $68,000 in that moment. Well, your suggestion is that we should submit for a retroactive authorization form for a helicopter ride that happened 6 months ago for a decision made by a paramedic while she was bleeding out. Yes, definitely.
I'm reading this right now. This phone call doesn't need to happen in countries with universal healthcare. Bro, I was reading the other day that people in Iceland, if they have, now this is a non-emergency care, but if they have like a very, very specific like disease or like, you know, like some kind of super specialist like science, I don't know, care or whatever medical care, Denmark, which is their country, will fly them on a plane all the way to Denmark to get that personalized, specialized care, no matter how expensive it is. That is fucking awesome.
Let's escalate this. I need a supervisor and a case manager from your appeals department on the line right now. And please note for the record that I'm informing you that we are filing a formal complaint with the State Department of Insurance and the NSA. Yes, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. Well, she survived the crash and now she's getting collection notices from the helicopter that saved her. She was trapped in a vehicle being cut out with the jaws of life. Yeah, this is Aaron from
Awesome.
Social Work.
Fucking awesome.
The Super Bowl
One
for
last video.
networking.
engineers is the Super Bowl. That's the toughest thing in the whole world, trying to make 75,000 cell phones work. People packed shoulder to shoulder, all trying to upload videos of the first touchdown at the same time. If all 75,000 people tried to upload a video at the same time, that would end out being 750 gigabits per second of bandwidth you need. For crazy events like the Super Bowl, both AT&T and Verizon use the same piece of gear you don't see anywhere else. They're called mat-sing antennas. They're these balls of 48 antennas all pointed in different directions that they can hang. And what they do is they put out these sort of spotlights of RF that cover just a couple seats. And as you move just a couple seats over, you end out in the next beam. And so by just hanging a few of these balls, they can give huge amounts of coverage really, really quickly.
If the Super Bowl is inside an enclosed dome stadium versus an open air stadium, does that make a difference for your cell connection?
That is an interesting question, right? Are we better off in a domed stadium where you can hang more antennas all over the place? Or are you better off with an open stadium? I think the answer is an open stadium. It's really nice with a domed stadium that they could put the antennas wherever they wanted, pointed directly at the seat they want. But it also means that every time the signal bounces off the concrete, comes off a phone, it bounces off a wall, it keeps bouncing around inside that stadium until it hits somebody's antenna and interferes with them. Because the phones aren't that directional. So the leakage from the guy next to you, and the guy next to him, and the guy in front of you, and the guy behind, they're all still interfering with your signal a little bit. In conclusion, I want you to follow so you can get more technical discussions like this.
This is actually really cool. What? Okay, any engineers here? I worked at the Wi-Fi for Disney parks. Similar crowd size, but much bigger. 100% use unidirectionable antenna at hotspots. This is 10 years ago. It's gotten better, but still hidden. Oh, that's cool. From the network for read live, the Super Bowl is not difficult. There are more complicated networking issues for other events. True, like this guy said, like, you know, college stadiums had 120K plus. You know, soccer stadiums have more capacity. This is interesting. Okay, this is cool. I love technical stuff like this. Well, anyways, last video. Hey, thank you very much for joining me. I just love to randomly doom scroll sometimes. No, this is awesome. Like, I love to see what's on my algorithm. You know, there might be some embarrassing stuff here and there, you know, maybe Gooner stuff in the future, but who knows? No Gooner stuff here. There's so many, like, TikTok is like a whole other window that YouTubers and people on YouTube that don't see. So this is like awesome. I love it. And I hope you guys join me more in the future. Thank you very much, guys. Hey, see you in the future, okay? Maybe I'll upload more tomorrow. Who knows? Have a good one, guys. Have a great night. Stay safe out there, okay? Love you guys.